Live from Huntertown, Indiana, it's Soarin on the air. And today we're going to have a little bit different topic, but it's a nice day out here, low humidity. The temperature's not bad. We have a breeze blowing through here. And but today I went to go a different route. So just bear with me and just watch and enjoy. Watch and enjoy. There we go. It's something we see downtown all the time. Yeah. And maybe there's some things that you might see. Come on, where are you? Yeah, some things you might see in your yard. Or if you're awake, you might see some of this. Or if you're really aware, so it might be something you might hear. And this is all part of bird watching. Yay! Robin's not paying attention. Okay. So bird watching can start at a very young age. Bird watching can occur at home. You might just turn on your computer and go to one of the cams at to watch a bird feeder or a raptor cam or some other nesting cams, stuff like that. So you can just sit home and just kind of watch the birds.
That looks like Cornell.
That's Cornell.
Yeah.
Or you can go to the park and feed the pigeons. That's part of bird watching.
Yeah.
Or you can go down there to the pool there at Frankie Park and feed the ducks and the geese and all the other critters come in. That's part of bird watching. Or sometimes you just get the kids out there, and point some of these things out. That's part of bird watching. And maybe a little more advanced, show them how to use some binoculars. You can go do bird watching by yourself. Yep. Just wander into the woods and just take a look around. Or you can have a friend go with you to the woods.
Absolutely.
Or you can get a group. Here we are at Camp Scott down there, looking at the wetlands. And a bunch of people have come in on their bicycles. They have a kind of an open house thing on Sunday mornings about 9 o'clock. But you got to check with them, make sure that they're going to be there. Or just to join a group like the Audubon Society or something and walk through Frankie Park or one of the other parks around here. And you can be young, you can be old. Or if you're more adventuresome, you can go out someplace in the Serengeti, look around, see what you can find. Looking for cheetahs. Or you can go to the Sahara, looking for birds.
Is that you?
That's me, when I really look good.
Yeah, okay. I thought that looked like Anne.
Or another group here in Gambia, looking for birds that nest in the cliffs over there. Or some strange bird might show up, and it gathers all kinds of people from all over the states to look at this bird. Or sometime after you've eaten lunch, you just kind of lie down there, up there in the Smokies, just lie back and just watch the birds fly by. Sometimes you gotta watch in the rain. Rain doesn't stop the birds, can't stop you. Sometimes everybody lines up, get a good look at that bird that's down there. Or sometimes you get in a pile and look up there and you get those photographers in there, everybody getting a good picture. This looks out of focus here.
I don't know how to make it be in focus.
I don't know either. What happened there?
I don't know.
I don't know. What happened there? Something strange there. Oh, let's see. Okay. Uh-oh.
Is it getting better or worse?
I think it's getting worse. I don't know. Maybe it's me.
No, it does look out of.
Huh.
The words look all right.
Yeah. Pictures look bad.
Yeah.
I don't know how it must look at home.
Maybe the light behind it is making it be weird, like the
Yeah,
window.
that might be. So anyways, sometimes when you're out there, you get a little, and you need a little ride from some friends. So everybody piles in the back of a work truck and up the hill you go. Sometimes you're at some really fantastic place there in the Indian Ocean, and you arrive at your bird watching place there on a boat. And sometimes you're in the Antarctic and you ride on a boat out on a Zodiac. Huh. I don't know what's going on with that.
Sorry, everybody. I don't know how
Well,
to fix that.
I don't know how we'll fix that either. We're going to continue on. We'll fix this next week.
Yeah.
And sometimes you meet some new friends.
See,
That's
good.
in focus.
Yeah.
And just in case you don't miss it. Nope. Recognize our friends?
Oh, Steve Martin.
And Jack Black. And Owen Wilson. I stole that from The Big Year. So if you guys get a chance, go watch The Big Year. It's a fun movie.
That's right, yeah.
So, what do you need to go bird watching? Well, what you need are some basic things. Curiosity. You need a bird identification guide. You need proper clothing. You need optics, of course. You need to get up early. And sometimes you just got to stay up late. You got to remember, food and drink are very important. And you got to practice. You got to practice with some stuff. And then you got to go and gather up some friends. So the first thing you want to do is go get yourself a bird guide and start off simple. Get a bird guide that's for your locality. Like that little Midwestern bird guide. Only costs a few bucks. You can get those down at maybe the used bookstore or something like that, or sometimes at some of the parks that'll have those, or even like a beginner's guide to birds. It only has a couple hundred birds in it, but it's going to have the majority of them. It's all in focus now on what happened. Okay, or or a more advanced book like the Eastern Birds, but you don't want to get too involved. Okay, at the beginning, because all that information can be overwhelming. So start off basic and simple, and and like the beginner guide there, that's all photographs. Whereas the Peterson guides and some of those are actual drawings and paintings, and the difference being that photographs are photographs of an individual. Okay, it's like saying, what do people look like? And then you take a photograph of, say, Lynn here, okay? And you say, here's a representative of a person. Well, but maybe we want something more representative, and you definitely don't want a picture of me. So, but when they do a bird guide, they give the features. They emphasize the features that help you identify the bird. So start off, get yourself a basic bird guide. You don't need any optics or anything like that yet. You just need something so you can start seeing what the birds you have around your house on your way to work or back or whatever. And then you need proper clothing. Nothing is really special, okay, as far as the proper clothing is concerned. I wear the same clothes out on the trail as I wear at home. That's why I always look like I'm really, never mind. So anyways, so you don't need anything special. You just need to wear what's appropriate for the weather. Make sure you have good shoes on, that you can hike in. I always wear a long sleeve shirt, even in the summertime, a thin long sleeve shirt that keeps the bugs off and keeps the sun off you, and that kind of thing. Always wear a broad rimmed hat, so it covers your ears and your face and your neck, So, a baseball cap, it might be a little bit overdoing it, but it doesn't protect your ears or your neck. So just a broad-rimmed hat works, and use dull colors. Okay, even though the birds know you're out there. Okay, they don't like sudden flashes of white or bright sandy colors or things like that in the forest. And then again, out there on the beach, you don't want to be wearing bold, dark colors where you give yourself away. So the birds don't like being startled. So you want to have dull colors that kind of blend in, So you'll look, as far as the bird watching is concerned, just wear your old clothes, okay? And that works out real nice. And it's appropriate. You don't have to spend anything special. Maybe later on you might want to get some things like lightweight raincoats and stuff like that, but that's further down the trail. And optics, okay? So you want to get yourself some binoculars or telescopes and things like that. I always suggest to beginners that you start off with low power optics, 7 by 35. The first number that you see there, 7, is the magnification. The 35 is the size of the objective lens in millimeters. The larger the numbers, of course, the larger the magnification number, the bigger the image. The larger the objective lens, the more light you'll collect in there. The problem is that with increased power and increased objective lenses, you get increased weight. And when you look at the way you hold your binoculars, they're sitting out there, and they are they're very subject to movement. And the higher the power, the more movement or jitter you'll get. So you start off with low power ones until you can get used to using binoculars, and then you can advance to the higher powered ones. In fact, I found that after a bit, we've had to go back from our 10 by 50s back to 8 by 40s because right now I'm getting a little old. I'm not holding stuff as well, but the thing is, I can still see well, you know. And so, anyways, if you're going to buy binoculars, make sure they're waterproof, that the lenses are coated to take care of things like chromatic aberrations and things like that, and pay as much as you can afford. Somebody left an F out, okay, plus $5. Okay, so anyway, but the thing is, you can go around and you can get some nice stuff out there. If you get more advanced and you want to, there are more powerful binoculars, and you can also start looking at telescopes. But the thing you want to do is make sure when you buy your binoculars, you test them at the dealer. Okay, you go right to the desk and you pick up those binoculars, you look through them, and I think next week I'm going to talk about binoculars and how to buy them.
Cool.
And or you deal with a reputable mail order firm. I use Vortex. They're very reliable. They've been very cooperative over the years, and there are several others that you can depend upon. So if you see something that you've heard good reports about, and they do have a good return policy, then you might go that way. But I would test them out, because not all binoculars, even though they look the same in the catalog, are the same. There's just differences of the interpupillary distance. We have, our eyes are kind of fixed in our skulls, and the binoculars usually have a hinge so they can be swung open and closed, but sometimes they don't close enough, and so your eyes don't line up. So there's stuff like that you have to look at, before, so, and it's good when you go out there. And like I said, next week I'll tell you about how to judge the binoculars and that. Get up early. Birds get up early. Okay, they're hungry. They've had a night of it. So you gotta get kind of used to getting up early. Early bird catches the worm, so they say. And so go ahead. You have to get up early, and then get used to the idea that you might have to stay up late, especially if you want to look at owls and things, night birds. And in the middle of the day, the birds take a nap. You can take a nap too. So you can do a little siesta thing. You can sit there and cool under a tree, eat your lunch. Bring your notes up to date. All that kind of thing. So there's a little bit of time there, so a little bit of rest. But birding is a 25 hour a day job, and so you get out there and you're going to spend a lot of time out there. It's really a lot of fun, but it can also be very wearing. So food and drink. This is really important. Always have breakfast. Okay, always get that stomach full. I mean, you can scare away a lot of birds with that growling stomach. So always have breakfast, because you're going to need your energy up. A couple cups of coffee help to get you going, but it's always better to have some solid stuff in there and get you going. Always stop for lunch. Okay, there's nothing going on at lunchtime normally, and there are some exceptions to that, but for the most part, stop for lunch. Have a lunch with you, or go out to eat or whatever, but always stop for lunch. And again, you got to be keep your energy levels up, and always eat before you go to bed. Okay, one of the things is that at the end of the day, you really do need to eat so that so you can rest well. So anyway, so there's that, and then always carry snacks with you. Okay, because at usually somewhere around 9:30, 10 o'clock, you're going to start failing a little bit. You're going to flag down, and so always carry some snacks, and always carry water. Keep yourself hydrated. You can use some Gatorade or something like that. But always, so food and drink is really important. Like Napoleon said, the army travels on its stomach. Okay, so. And practice, okay? You're going to have to practice. Look at each bird. I know you've seen house sparrows before, but always look at them twice. Because sometimes you have a flock of house sparrows and there's somebody different in there. Might be a tree sparrow, might be a chipping sparrow, could be almost anything in there. So look at each bird, and the more you study those birds and look at them, the more you'll be able to separate out the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. So you go out there, and so when you see some birds fly, you say, nope, house sparrows, but that guy over there was not a house sparrow. So you can so look at each bird, and just don't jump to the next bird or keep scanning for other stuff. Look at your cardinals. It's kind of fun to look at the cardinals, and especially when right after baby season, there you got cardinals that look all kinds of different weird ways. So if you study a cardinal, study the behavior and those kinds of things, then you know what you're looking for or looking at, and you can separate the new birds from the old birds. Track the song, okay? If you hear a song, just don't pass it off. Just say, what is making that song? Where's it coming from? And also that gives you good training also in how to move your head back and forth. It's just like our owls out here, they have to triangulate and figure out where the sound is coming from, and you should do the same thing. And develop some mnemonics for yourself. In other words, memory clues as to what bird is singing. So if you have a chickadee out there, you probably figure, chickadee, dee, 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 dee. But they also do a little sound. Sounds like cheeseburger, or hey baby, hey baby. So some mnemonics like that. There's the white crowns, going white crowns. Yep. I'm sorry, white throats going old Sam Peabody. Old Sam Peabody, or little yellow warblers over there, sweet, 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 oh so sweet. So develop some mnemonics, memory aids to help you, and that helps you in the long run, because then you can say, I don't need to look at that bird. I know what that bird is. I'm going to go look for some other birds. And then practice with your binoculars, with your telescope. Just sit there. When you're sitting there watching TV or something, look at stuff around your room. Adjusting. See how quickly you can get the binoculars up to your eyes. One of the clues about putting binoculars up to your eyes is that always what you want to do is keep your eye on the bird and bring the binoculars up to your eyes, not look down at your binoculars, then bring them up. It's too late then, And don't do it too quickly. Fast motions really get the birds excited. So you just want to slowly bring them up to your eyes, and typically they're going to be right there in the middle. So get a lot of practice, okay, with your equipment. Okay, friends. You need to have some friends when you go birding. Particularly your spouse. Okay, because your spouse might wonder what you're up to if you disappear for hours at a time and come back with a silly grin on your face. So it's a good idea to involve your spouse with you, and also so your spouse understands why you're spending all this money on books and binoculars and telescopes and things like that. So involve your spouse with you. They may not exactly want to go out in the cold and the wet and the rain to look at birds or something. They don't, and they may not appreciate those calls from your buddies that something was spotted down in southern Indiana, and you got to dash out first thing in the morning. I've done that a couple times, but and the thing is, with friends, you can share your experience. What's happened. What you saw, what kinds of things happened along the way. Sometimes you saw some birds and everybody's saying that, but what did you see? Well, maybe you saw a moose taking a bath. That'd be interesting. People might be interested in that. Sometimes so there's all kinds of things you might see along the way that maybe don't have anything to do with the birds, but it has to do with nature or living and stuff. And also by having some friends, you help to learn from others. They can teach you some things and share stuff with you about how to identify birds, or how to where a particular location is what we call a hot spot, where there's a lot of good birds or a special bird. So have some friends or find some friends that want to share this with you. And some benefits. Okay, what are some benefits that you get from birding? Okay, it helps to develop patience. Sometimes you got to wait for the bird. You just can't get charging. I remember there was one guy, he just could hear the bird, just didn't have the patience to finally just charged into the bushes after the bird. Well, we thanked him later because he flushed the bird. We all got to see it and he didn't. But sometimes you just need to, but it helps you to develop patience, and you can stand there calmly, watch, and enjoy things and just, just wait for the birds. And, birds know you're there, you don't get to live in the wild if you aren't aware of predators, and we are predators. So sometimes you just have to wait for the birds. So it develops patience. You also get your children to go outside, So, come on, you can go with daddy or mommy and we'll go down to the park and watch birds or something like that. So it gets them out and gets them out of your spouse's feet, underfoot, So, one of the things is a lot of times it allows for introspection and contemplation. There are times when you're just sitting out there on a log and the birds aren't hopping, and there's nothing going on. And so sometimes you just sit back and reflect on things, So it's a really nice mental health thing. It improves cardiovascular health, okay? So you're out there walking, breathing fresh air, that kind of thing. As you become more advanced, you might be climbing mountains or trudging across the desert, a number of things. But it's going to improve your health, and so that's one of the things. It gives you an excuse to travel.
There you go.
I mean, once you've seen the birds in your patch, maybe you want to go someplace else. So you go and you see some of the birds in town. And then you go to the state park, then the national park, maybe and pretty soon you're going running after birds. When you hear about a new bird at a particular place that you want to see. It builds a sense of community, okay? So you're working with others and everybody is working together, and so you feel as part of a group, And one of the things it does quicken your reflexes. When you first start out, you may not be as reactive to birds' movements and things like that, but as your eyes get trained and your brain gets trained, your reflexes increase, And so, so it's no time at all. You're snatching bullets out of the air and things like that. So it quickens your reflexes. It develops an appreciation for nature. Okay, so you go out there and you can really appreciate what's been done for us and the fact that we got to really take care of it. It isn't just for the pretty birds; it's for the whole overall thing. And so it helps us to appreciate nature. And then some final thoughts. Okay, and may or may not apply, but some people, after they've developed some of this, going out with the binoculars and with the bird book and that kind of thing, they start spreading things out. I've heard of people that are taking their security cameras and now turning on their bird feeders, so they can see what's going on at the house. So they're at work, and they have the alarm set up so that if a bird shows up, bing, and while they're at work, they just check out and see what's going on there. So you have that. People make lists of what they've seen. Some people they make a daily list. You can buy pre-printed lists. You can mark them up. And some people, I saw birds at my house, so they have a house list, and then they have maybe they have a town list or a county list or a state list or a country list. And so there's all kinds of things. So they've gone on a computer and they've looked to see what birds are at different places, and they start looking at the pictures there, and they start formulating plans for where we're going to travel. So as soon as the kids leave the house, your spouse and you are going to go off to some places, and you want to go to those places that combine decent accommodations and decent food and stuff like that, or maybe some things that you're mutually interested in. Like last week we did the thing, or 2 weeks ago we did the thing on Petra. We went to see Petra, so so this was a good excuse. We saw birds and we saw Petra, both things together. So there's a lot of things out there that that maybe join us together with others, join us together with our family. So it's a nice, healthy sport. And if you want to get into it a little bit, you can always give a call out here to Soarin Hawk, and we'll help you out. And like I said, next week I'm going to talk about optics a little bit, and show you how you can check out your binoculars, and and see if they're really working for you or get the best performance out of them. So let's see here. Whoops. Well, we're doing good on time here.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, but now it's time for the commercial.
Oh, yay.
Okay, so, well, in conclusion. Wow. Okay,
Wow.
so anyways. Wow. So, any of you guys want to get into some bird watching, let me know. And there's lots of people in town, the Audubon Society and others. Matea Park runs things. Down there at the Camp Scott, they run a thing on Sunday, some bird watching. Lindenwood has some things. So there's all kinds of things available all over town here locally, but there's all kinds of things all over the country. And there's a lot of people out there that are more than willing to share with you. If you're interested, and you can do bird watching on the cheap, or you can spend a lot of money and a lot of time on it. In fact, it can become an obsession. But we won't get into me. I'm sorry. So anyway, so we got some upcoming events. Oh, speaking about bird watching, on the 13th up there at Auburn Parks in Auburn, we're going to be doing some bird watching there at 12 o'clock. Also on that same day, we're going to be spread a little thin. We're going to be down at Kikianga Festival, Riverside Park in Decatur, and right there along the river. And so we'll be right there, right by the eagle statue. And so you'll see us in the back there. Then let's see, the next day we have Huntertown Heritage Day. So we're going to be out there with our van. We're going to be in the parade. And then at noon, right there in the family park at the amphitheater, we're going to do a show with our birds. And so everybody's welcome to that. And it's free. So, so you can't beat the price. And just pray we get great weather. And then following week, let's see, we're going to be over there at Salina at the North Shore Park, and we're going to be doing a program on owls. But don't worry, we're going to bring Jeff with us. Yeah, everybody wants to see Jeff, And the next week, we're doing the Open Streets thing on Calhoun. That's being sponsored by the city. That's going to be kind of a big open party type thing. Oh. And so there's going to be all kinds of dancing and music and stuff going on, all kinds of kinetic stuff, as I understand. And we'll have a little setup out there, a table with a couple of the birds. And then getting into September, we got Tin Caps Baseball. We're going to be up there on the 7th. And so you get to meet some of the birds. And hopefully we'll have Jeff out there for the national anthem. Okay, so that'd be great. Let's see. Then let's see, on the 10th we have the Roanoke Fall Festival, and that's at the Roanoke Park in Roanoke. You can't hardly miss it. You just go right down 24, turn there on Lower Huntington Road, and go swivel back and forth through a couple lanes, and you'll come to the park. Let's see, what else we got? We got Stone's Trace, historic site there in Ligonier. We're going to be up there for a children's program. And then Middlebury at the Riverbend Park. And then the Trail of Courage there at Rochester. So we have a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of opportunities for you to see us and meet us. And if you notice, those are all public events. So you come on out. And then let's go and make a visit over here to St. Henry's Boy Scouts over there in Ohio, and out there at the Saratoga Park neighborhood. We're going to be doing a program out there. And we got some other stuff, I guess I didn't get a chance to put on there, but Grable Cabinets is having their 75th anniversary in September. Oh, wow. So we're going to be out there at Grable Cabinets and helping them celebrate. And so there's a lot of other stuff going on, and stuff is starting to open up a little bit. And so join us. There's always an event out there, and you can always see our birds up close. And so let's see, reminder. Jeff, Aaron, Poe need fish. Actually, so do some of the other guys.
Yeah.
They all enjoy the fish. So if you have some fish that are a little too small for your frying pan, just send them our way. If you got some live ones, we'll take those. We got our tank set up out here with an aerator to keep them fresh. and the birds really love those. And don't forget the Soarin Hawk Raptor Adventure. Come out, do a tour around here. We'll show you the birds, and so you get them up close. So you get a private showing. Okay, you don't have to share with all those other people. You just get a nice private showing, and so you get to see the birds up close and get to have your picture taken with your favorite bird. And again, it's we go to schools, home schools, community groups, scouts, churches, retirement homes. So we have a lot of places that you call us up and we'll attend. We also do special events, birthdays, weddings, Eagle Awards, block parties, baby showers. So we'll help you celebrate anything. I don't know. Would we do a what do you call it? A gender review?
Sure, why not?
Reveal? Okay, we can do a gender reveal even if you want to do one of those. So I don't know. So you pay us, we will come.
Yes, that's right.
So don't forget Amazon. Designate us as your charity. Okay, that you want to support, and a portion of your what you spend goes to us, a 0.5%. Or don't forget community rewards. Everybody's going to eat. So if you're out there at Kroger's, designate us as your charity. And so we get a portion of what they take in during a quarter. And then they share it out depending upon the size of what's been donated, plus also the number of families that are involved. Right now we have about 150 families that are helping us. So please do that. And let's see. Oh, I guess that's the end.
Let's talk about the auction.
Oh, we got the auction. I forgot about the auction.
We have a Facebook auction coming up starting September 15th. It will be on Facebook. You can go to Soarin Hawk Auction Group on Facebook and like us there so you get updates. We're posting items that will be up for auction as we get them. And one of the items will be birding with Bob.
Huh?
So you can go on a birding trip with Bob. And that'll be really cool. There will be 4 of those that you can bid on. And we also have a pizza oven and some really cool jewelry and artwork, a lot of really neat art. So go check it out, and if you can, bid, because there's some really good stuff and it all goes toward the birds. So you can help that way.
And if there's something you want to donate to us to put on the auction,
call the rescue line and we'll arrange to get it from you.
That's 260-241-0134.
Yes.
260. We got to make up a jingle. 241-0134.
Like the carpet company.
Like the carpet company, something like that. So anyway, so it's going to be a big deal when we do that.
It'll be a cool thing. So check it out, everybody, and sign up for updates.
So I think I'm finished for the day. I don't know, but we have some people coming here in a few minutes, and they want to take the Raptor tour.
Oh, cool!
So
that's wonderful.
So they're going to be coming in here shortly.
People always enjoy that. So if you can, consider doing that, because it's a really neat thing.
Yeah, we've been getting people in from all over. I think locally, I guess, around locally. Of course, we get a lot from town, but we've gotten from over in Ohio, Cincinnati. We've had a couple families come up from Cincinnati just for the day, just to visit us.
Yeah.
And last week we had a family from Texas. They had me in town visiting their friends.
Oh,
and did they, where did they go? They didn't go downtown. They didn't go to the zoo. They came out here.
Yeah.
Okay. She says our time is up, doesn't she?
That's Ginger.
That's
She's
Ginger.
saying it's time.
Yeah, she says it's time. She says, enough, guys. Feed me. I want to be fed. So anyway, if you have any questions or anything like that, I haven't seen any questions come up, so I guess I did a good job, or either that or everybody went to sleep.
Answered everyone.
Yeah, so okay, so I'm going to see you next week, or Lynn's going to see you next week. Gigi's away down in where is she in? Cancun. Watching birds.
Yeah.
Dang, that's just terrible. That's really kind of those green jays and stuff, and mots and all kinds of stuff. Toucans. Oh, that's too bad.
I'd love to see a toucan.
Yeah, so well, you'll get to, right, one of these days.
One of these days.
Okay, so let's sign off. Let's
Good,
finish.
we're finished.
Yeah,
See you,
let's try.
everybody.